Our next guest gives us a great thrill to introduce to you. One of the things that we have been trying to do is to give you choices in the automotive industry, and quality ones at that. And our next guest is exactly that. With decades in our community and committed to quality and integrity, it is a privilege to introduce Wes Johnson, General Manager of Greg's Garage in Reno. Wes, thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, Mitch.
Well, we asked you to be a regular guest on our show, and for obvious reasons, as our community gets to know you better. Again, we've been trying to have you be a part of this for several months now, and we're delighted to have you join us in this group of elite businesses. Tell us a little bit about your personal history in the automotive industry, and then how and why you chose to match that with Greg's Garage, because you have an extensive background and could have chosen anywhere to work.
Well, I've been in the industry for over 40 years. I started out in 1968 at a new car dealer back in Salinas, California, detailing cars at a paltry sum of $1.65 an hour. And I've worked at several independent shops over the years and ended up at Greg's Garage.
Well, and tell us a little bit about that selection process, about Greg's Garage.
Well, I'd dealt with Greg's Garage in a business manner quite frequently, and got to know Greg over the years, and we started talking, and I knew what his standards were and the demands of his employees and the quality of work that he put out, and decided it'd be a great fit. And he told me what his benefits were, and I just went on from there.
And so how long has Greg's Garage been on 6th Street in Reno?
It's almost 8 years now.
And you mentioned standards of staff, and I really want to take some time on this because I think that this is really the ultimate prize for consumer when selecting a shop, is that it starts with not, as we talked about on a previous segment in the show, quality of parts, but also the quality of the staff. And you definitely have bragging rights there. So tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. We have all of our technicians are ASE certified, which is Automotive Service Excellence. We belong to ASA, which is Automotive Service Association. And we have factory trained technicians. So we take pride in the quality work we put out.
Well, and what that results in, what the consumer's end product is really big. So let's tell them it's not just that you have these credentials, but what do they get for that?
Well, diagnosis. Diagnostic is a big thing nowadays because not everybody can fix a car. And we take pride in fixing a car and fixing it right.
So the proper diagnosis could mean, getting it done right the first time.
That's correct.
And not having a misdiagnosis and paying for an unnecessary repair.
That's true.
And then the getting it done right the first time, it means savings of money and less aggravation for the consumer, time without their car and inconveniences. So the rewards of that are significant. And I just wanted to make sure we didn't just skip over the fact that you have a complete staff of ASE certified technicians and that you're AAA approved. And your shop's won multiple awards over the years as well.
That's correct.
You want to share some of those with us?
Well, we've been voted best shop in Reno several years by the Reno Gazette Journal and Reno News and Review.
And also, I think one of the characteristics, you and I had a conversation about this just last week. One of the characteristics of truly quality businesses is they start by, as you mentioned, employing and caring about quality staff. But they're also very involved in our community, and there's no exception with Greg's Garage either.
Sure. We sponsor a Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation and Sky Tavern Ski Program.
Now, that's currently. Over the years, there's been a plethora of foundations and causes that Greg has taken on. And I want to point that out because I know if he were on the show right now that he's pretty modest, so he probably wouldn't. And you don't do that for bragging rights. You do it because that's who you are. But we've found over the course of many decades in this industry as well that individuals and businesses that are committed to their community and committed to their employees have the highest potential to actually care about their customers. If they can't care about the other two, what are the likeliness of them actually valuing their customers?
You're absolutely right. That's something we pride ourselves in. And a lot of our customers, my customers, I feel like they're family to me. And when they leave, I either get a hug or a handshake, and it gives me a good feeling inside to know that I fixed their car, along with being a member of my family. And I really get a good feeling inside.
Well, and if you haven't felt that compelled to reach out and give a handshake or a hug to your repair shop now, you definitely want to visit Wes at Greg's Garage, because that's a level of intent. It really says that it means personal to you. You're a member of our community, and these people are your friends and your neighbors.
Sure.
Let's talk a little bit about today's topic, if you will. Summer's coming, and it's time to start getting prepared for that. And there's a lot for people to actually do this time of the year.
Well, even with the high price of gas, people still have to get out and get away from their work, and they do it with their family. And the biggest part of that is preventive maintenance. You can do a lot of that yourself. For money-wise, money problems, because a lot of people don't have a lot of spendable cash right now. But if you can't do it, you bring it to a shop you trust. Hopefully it's Greg's Garage. If not, there's a lot of other good shops out there.
Well, what you just said there, I can't let you skip over. The level of integrity that goes in and just saying that we're not the only one. And our show exists around a community of quality businesses. And again, mediocrity doesn't suffice. Only the top businesses will ever be on our show. But what you just said is, yes, we have some really, truly good businesses. The problem is there's so many poor ones in the automotive repair field that it's really one of the top two categories that we have taken on as a show to help educate our community on. And just the integrity that goes behind saying we're not the only ones shows that you're honest. I mean, there's integrity so deep in that statement. I just didn't want our community to skip over that and not hear that kind of honesty. But you are one of the top businesses and one that we endorse, that our community support because of that quality of integrity. So again, getting ready for the summer, what things should people, whether they're doing them themselves or bringing to you, should they be concerned about this time of the year?
Well, the first thing you should do is check the condition of your tires. I see a lot of people passing me up with low tire pressure, and next thing you know, the tire blows out because they're riding on the sidewall. Not only do you have to buy a new tire, sometimes you have to buy a new wheel. Tires and wheels in a low profile are not inexpensive nowadays. I've seen people spend $1,000 for a tire and wheel, and that can put a big damper on your holiday or vacation trip.
And even if you have to pay 25 cents to put air in your tire, that's a lot cheaper.
Oh, yes.
And so tire pressure would be one big thing to check in. And also this time of the year, as weather is heating up, there's some other things that they'd want to go into.
Sure. You want to make sure and check all your fluid levels. Number one, your coolant or antifreeze. If you have a engine go low on coolant, then you got big problems. You got engine failure at times.
Overheating can cause
overheating, yes.
Warped heads.
You see them sitting on the side of the road all the time with smoke pouring out of the top of them, out of the radiator, and hoses leaking, and you're making a phone call to the tow company.
Well, and that's a big part of what you do is when people come in to do a service with you, that's part of your initial inspection. They can't get out of your shop without that being looked at.
Yes, that's true.
And so what other things would you recommend that they do? And I hope our listeners are getting that this is the type of things that you're up to as a business is that you're not just waiting for them to break down and bring you the big repair bills. You're actually trying to save them money by pointing out the things that they can do to prevent those big repair bills.
Oh, absolutely. If you don't have your vehicle in tip-top shape, you're doomed for failure out on the road, and that's not a cheap thing to have happen in another city. And then you got the whole family upset at you because a radiator hose started leaking, and you can't get one till tomorrow, and you're headed to Disneyland or someplace like that. So it just doesn't make a good thing for the family.
And so, again, back to the other things that you would recommend that people check that you're going to check if they do come to you.
Well, fan belts for cracks and wears. Of course, radiator hoses. You want to make sure they're not soft or brittle. Check all your exterior lights. You don't want to have brake lights out when you're traveling at night, or tail lights. Just all this stuff is just a big step in having a good, safe trip.
Well, preventative maintenance is the key to reduced overall repair costs, and life expectancy increases significant. But also, I think, do you find that one of the most overlooked parts of the car is the transmission and its fluid?
Absolutely. The fluid changes on your vehicle. You got your in trucks, you have, and all-wheel drive vehicles, you have differentials, transmissions, transfer cases. And if you don't change those on a regular basis according to your manufacturer's scheduled maintenance log, then you've got a potential problem.
And people think first thing that comes to their mind is I got to get my oil changed. But I think if everyone thinks right now, when's the last time they said to themselves, I got to get my transmission fluid changed? I think I probably had a large number of listeners right now just go, I haven't done that.
Well, that's right, and that's where we come in. We go through, and when your vehicle comes into the shop for, say, an oil change, and we pull up the recommends or scheduled maintenance log for your vehicle, and then we do an inspection. We check the fluid levels and condition of them and level, and then we come back if we see something, tell the customer, okay, well, according to our records, you haven't had a transmission service done in 60,000 miles. You're overdue. The fluid's dirty, so you can spend $150 now for a transmission service, or let it go and maybe spend $2,500 next month for a transmission replacement.
Oh, so you're trying to save the money, and also you're talking about records keeping and being committed to the long-term relationship with the customer. Then, so if they come to you, that's I think I want to touch on this if you don't mind. The capacity of your shop is extraordinary for an independent repair shop. You have how many service writers, technicians, and bays?
We have four service writers. We have 7 technicians and 18 bays.
And you do it all. So let's give them some idea of the types of capabilities of your shop in repairs and maintenance.
Well, starting with oil changes. We do oil changes. We sell tires. We do transmission services, all your fluid changes, brake jobs. We even replace engines. We replace transmissions, brakes, alignments. We're a full-service garage.
So, and what kind of makes would they want to bring to you?
Just about everything.
Foreign, domestic?
That's correct.
Trucks, SUVs?
Yes.
Motorhomes?
Yes. It's a big truck market here, and we do some motorhomes. If one of our customers has a motorhome, we'll work on it.
Now, if they want to get a hold of you, how would they reach you?
Well, we're downtown Reno at 410 East 6th Street.
775-324-0911.
And your website?
Greg'sGarageInc.com.
Now, again, I want you to understand that for us to have a business on our show, it is because they meet and exceed the standards that we want you, our community, to search for. Quality, commitment, integrity, and core fundamental values, and that is exactly what you'll get if you visit Greg's Garage, and we recommend and endorse them. Thanks for being here today with us, Wes.
Thank you.